Hi everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing Green Economy's strategic framework for optimized outreach in new markets. This presentation will serve as a guide for the sales, marketing, and leadership teams to be able to work together and effectively tackle market entry across the nation. So to start, let's talk about why a streamlined approach is needed. We know that expansion outside California opens the door to exciting new business opportunities, and it's key to helping us hit higher revenue targets. While Green Economy has built a strong presence in California, expansion into new markets requires a structured, intentional approach that we can scale and repeat. So by developing a scalable and repeatable framework, we're not just building for a one-off success. We're creating a model that we can apply across multiple markets efficiently. This also helps support stronger sales and marketing alignment. When everyone's on the same page, from research through to outreach, it leads to clearer communication, smoother handoffs, and a more coordinated effort overall. A streamlined strategy also maximizes efficiency. It helps us focus on the most promising opportunities and partnerships, instead of spreading resources too thin or chasing low-impact leads. Ultimately, this leads to an increased success rate. When we approach market expansion with a well-thought-out plan, we see stronger engagement, better conversion rates, and faster momentum. So I'll give a quick overview of the approach. It's broken down into 3 key phases: research, strategy, and outreach. Phase 1 is research. This is where we lay the groundwork by understanding the target market, its regulations, customer needs, competitive landscape, and more. Once we've gathered that data, leadership will ultimately choose the market that offers the best fit and highest potential for Green Economy services. Once selected, we'll move into designating those key partnerships that will be needed to both advertise our services and fulfill our work. Then phase 2 is all about strategy and will be heavily reliant on the marketing team. With our target market selected, we move into planning and content creation. This includes creating relevant marketing collateral, allocating a budget for campaigns, and building a digital marketing plan tailored to that region. Then the final phase is outreach. Now we activate the plan, and this relies on the sales team. We'll begin with prospecting and launching sales campaigns according to a clear timeline. As outreach gets underway, we'll also track progress against key performance indicators to ensure we're meeting our goals and can adjust as needed. Each phase is designed to flow into the next and clearly outlines which team is taking charge. This will help us stay aligned, focused, and set up for success as we expand into new markets. So now let's dive right into phase 1, which is research. To start, we want to understand where demand for our services is strongest. Our target clients are commercial real estate owners who are required to comply with energy benchmarking laws, but especially those with multiple buildings, since that allows us to deliver value across their entire portfolio. We'll use data from Energy Star, local compliance databases, and emerging sustainability regulations to identify areas where compliance is mandatory and enforcement is increasing. These insights help us focus on the markets where the need for our service is both urgent and accelerating. From there, we'll zoom in on the highest opportunity areas. Looking at specific zip codes allows for quick sorting in tools like CoStar and other databases. We'll focus on regions with a high density of commercial buildings and low compliance rates, which signals room for growth. We'll want to research potential clients based on their portfolio size and building type. Once we've narrowed in on a target market, we'll assess the competitive landscape. This means understanding what similar firms are offering, how they're priced, and whether there may be gaps in service. Lastly, we should understand that benchmarking compliance is often just the entry point. We want to build lasting relationships with larger portfolios, so we should evaluate opportunities where we can expand into phase 2 services like audits, retrofits, and ongoing reporting support. At the same time, we'll begin to identify potential partners who can support regional or out-of-state work as we grow our geographic footprint. Now, the link at the bottom of this slide will connect you to a deck that the Global Research and Consulting Group from UCLA put together that outlines target market research for Boston and Denver specifically. This can help guide future work on target market research as new jurisdictions across the U.S. launch building energy regulations. Now, the second step is about getting everyone on the same page. For this expansion to work, it's important that marketing, sales, and leadership have a shared understanding of our goals and strategy. We'll use the detailed research from step 1 to guide our direction, drawing from insights on compliance trends, market demand, and the competitive landscape. This ensures that our decisions are grounded in data. Next, it's important for leadership to define what success looks like. How much should this new market contribute to revenue? What KPIs will we track? Things such as percentage revenue growth and client conversion rates will be important here. And finally, we'll focus on balancing short-term wins with long-term opportunity, targeting areas where we can quickly bring in new clients with benchmarking, while also identifying potential to grow into more advanced services over time, such as phase 2 opportunities and retrofits. Then once we've chosen the target market, the next step is building the partnerships that will support our success in that region. First, we want to increase visibility. The sales team should join relevant local business associations, green building councils, or energy efficiency coalitions. This helps us get on the radar of potential clients and stay plugged into local industry conversations. Also, we must establish relationships with local government partners and regulatory agencies. We should get listed as an approved vendor or provider wherever possible, whether that's with the city programs, utility incentive platforms, or property management associations. These lists are often the first place potential clients look when they're seeking help with compliance. But before we start any work, we need to verify licensing and credential requirements for contractors. Some markets may have special requirements for energy professionals, and we want to ensure we're fully compliant from day one. We'll also want to designate which members of Green Economy will take the lead in fulfilling any of these credentialing requirements. Executive leadership will focus on building a reliable network of subcontractors. That includes solar installers, LED specialists, energy auditors, and tax incentive consultants, especially those with experience working locally. Overall, this step is about building the infrastructure we need to operate effectively and credibly in a new market, and to deliver high-quality, locally informed service from the start. Now let's get into phase 2, strategy. Once we've chosen a new market, the first strategic step is enabling our team with the right materials and positioning Green Economy as an expert in the market. We'll start with a dedicated ordinance page on our website. This helps with visibility, SEO, and gives clients a place to reference local laws and our services. Next, we'll design a simple postcard, something the sales team can use in person or over email that gives a quick overview of who we are and how we help. This is also a great opportunity to co-brand with a local provider in the target city, increasing our brand exposure. We'll also build out sales templates, quick start email and call scripts to help sales reps feel confident and consistent in their outreach. Then, we'll publish a few blog posts relevant to the new market. These can cover trends, local requirements, or even our approach to sustainability. This is helping with organic marketing growth. Finally, we'll include a new market announcement in our monthly newsletter to let existing clients, partners, and followers know that we're expanding. So with our materials ready, the next step is to put some fuel behind them and make sure the right audience is interacting with our content. This slide outlines where we'll direct our marketing spend in each new market. First, we'll identify priority keywords for both paid and organic search, things potential clients are already Googling when they need help with compliance. Then we'll look at paid advertising specifically, including Google Ads, LinkedIn campaigns, or placing ads on industry-specific platforms. In this step, we'll allocate a budget to paid marketing if we choose to do so. Another strategy we can explore is buying certain high-traffic domains to create mini-sites in upcoming markets. This will help drive traffic to Green Economy's main website and get us more visibility. We'll also want to consider investing in conferences and webinars, whether it's sponsoring local events or sending our sales team to network and present. These help build trust, especially in newer markets. Now, step 3 is where we launch our organic marketing efforts and start building awareness in the new market. This will be building off of the ordinance page as the go-to resource to direct prospects. We'll roll out a series of blogs that focus on market-specific insights, like local regulations or client success stories. These will be promoted through Green Economy's LinkedIn and Instagram, giving us consistent visibility. The monthly newsletter will formally announce the expansion and include key links to the ordinance page or blogs to have a call to action. And finally, we'll monitor key metrics like page views, social engagement, and inbound leads so that we can see what's working and adjust accordingly. So now we're at phase 3, which is outreach, and this is heavily reliant on the sales team. The first step in phase 3 outreach will be building our lead list, also known as prospecting. I have outlined this process in 5 steps to make it really strategic and easy to follow. The goal here is to obtain a list of building owner or property manager contacts, emails, and phone numbers for the specific area that we're targeting. To begin building your list of prospects, we first want to identify high opportunity zip codes from phase 1. These are the areas where we've seen low compliance rates and high benchmarking penalties. Then, we download publicly available benchmarking compliance data from city websites, usually in Excel format, and filter for non-compliant buildings. This helps us narrow our focus to the most urgent and impactful opportunities. Step 2. We use CoStar to pull only the relevant contact information. Specifically, we're looking for the building owner and property manager, since these are the people who are typical decision makers. Then, to streamline the data cleanup process, we can use AI tools like Julius AI. This will help us match and merge the public benchmarking data with the CoStar's database. This gives us a unified working list of buildings along with clean ownership and management data, ready for outreach. A more detailed explanation of how to use these AI programs is outlined at the link at the bottom of this slide. Then step 4. Because even with AI, some of the data needs a human touch. We go property by property to confirm and update contact information. We're checking for errors or outdated information. This step ensures we're reaching the right people and increases our chances of a meaningful connection. And step 5. Finally, we prioritize outreach to large property management firms and portfolio owners. These groups often manage dozens or even hundreds of properties. Building strong relationships here gives us a chance to scale our impact by assessing multiple buildings through a single point of contact. Once we have a curated leads list, we'll implement a structured sales campaign timeline based on 5 touch points to maximize engagement. We'll follow standardized phone and email scripts for all team members to ensure our messaging is consistent. The goal in our language throughout this campaign is to emphasize compliance, but also highlight Green Economy's broader capabilities, such as our support with Phase 2 requirements, energy retrofits, and consulting services. The first touchpoint will be an initial call to introduce our services and instill urgency with non-compliance. This messaging will help us get past any gatekeepers. If we're unable to connect, we'll follow up with a "sorry I missed you" email. Statistically, emails like this have a higher chance of being opened. Once you've completed this step, label this prospect "contacted" in your Excel sheet to keep track. Next, we move into the first follow-up. Here, we'll send a value-driven email, something useful like a blog post, a summary of the ordinance, or a savings case study. This builds credibility and provides value to the lead right away. Now we can move this prospect into the follow-up 1 phase on our Excel sheet. And keep in mind, a prospect is only moved to Zoho once they've become a qualified lead, meaning you have gotten a response, either through phone or email, that the person has true interest in one of Green Economy's services. Until then, keep track of what stage the prospect is in on your personal leads list Excel sheet. The second follow-up will be a call designed to instill urgency, reminding the lead of upcoming deadlines and potential penalties for noncompliance. Next, we'll send a branded email blast to any contacts with a verified email, using marketing-approved language to reach a broader audience and reinforcing our core messaging. Finally, if we still haven't gotten a response, we'll send a breakup email. This will signal that we're closing the contact as lost for now and reassigning it to the marketing team to keep warm. A scripting document is linked at the bottom of this slide, providing the exact language we want to use throughout the phone and email touchpoints. Now this is where we begin outreach. Initial calls may take a little bit longer due to the fact that contact information needs to be verified and there may be gatekeepers to get through. But as we move through the sales campaign timeline and our leads are verified, the outreach process should get more efficient. This is the final step in our outreach process. where we track results and adjust our strategy as needed. As we are prospecting and refining our leads list by zip code, we'll be able to track the total number of eligible buildings compared to how many are out of compliance in that area. And as we move through the process, we'll want a weekly update of how many contacts we've reached out to. This is important to see which areas are responding well and where we may need to shift our focus. Additionally, sales reps should also be logging outreach tasks and noting what's effective. This gives us space to reflect and refine our messaging for maximum delivery. And then in Zoho, we'll measure the pipeline at every stage. First, how many qualified leads were added. Next, how many were converted into opportunities, which we define as contacts who've received a contract. And finally, how many deals were closed, along with the revenue generated. Because at the end of the day, the goal here is to expand Green Economy's reach and hit those higher revenue targets. A streamlined approach is the perfect way to do that. So thank you for listening.